Chapter 7. A Winter's Day Tale. On Saturday, driving up to the Arakar Alps, despite a favourable weather forecast, conditions are looking decidedly gloomy. A predictably late start to the day means it's already after 10 when we arrive at Succoth. As usual, Tashi is raring to go, and his barking and general canine enthusiasm for the off ensures that we are swiftly away. I like the new path to the cobbler. It may be slightly ponderous, but who really wants to ascend the route by the old hydro rail track? Now I want to put some distance between us and a young couple with a rather noisy Jack Russell Terrier. But of course Tashi is of a different mindset, and when he spots the JR, he retreats back down the hill to say hello to a potential new bestie. Puffing from my initial rather hasty progress, I watched the developing situation with a growing sense of dismay. The young man quickly grabs hold of his frantic beast, and then holds his canine aloft in his outstretched arms like a trophy. Tashi and the JR continue to bark at each other. I try calling my Apso, but naturally he decides to ignore me, and I'm forced to retreat downhill. The young woman explains that their dog isn't very friendly with other dogs, and then smiles at me. I suggest that maybe they should go ahead of us, to avoid any further canine interaction. I reckon they're a good decade younger than me, and more than likely much fitter, so with any luck they will forge ahead and leave me, if not Tashi, floundering in their youthful wake. The guy sets off at a fair old pace, and his girlfriend, who is carrying only a small water sack, struggles to keep up with him. Tashi is now on his lead, and holding a big grudge. What's going on here, mountain boy? That wee altercation back there was all that Jack Russell's fault. I was just trying to say hello. So how come I'm getting the blame? What happened to my socialisation process, eh? They say you shouldn't talk to dogs, but I talk to Tashi all the time, and now I've even started composing replies for him. On the whole, Tashi likes other dogs, and particularly ladies and neutered males, and I rarely need to have him on the lead when we're out in the hills. Lhasa Apsos were made in Tibet, and mountain terrain is what their biology designed them for. Off the lead, Tashi will pause to explore selected rock and bouldering problems, often repeating them if they're fun. He will leap and bounce about all over the place, expressing absolute joy in being in the now. On the downside, he is highly likely to investigate a carelessly placed rucksack, and he has even been known to lift his leg against one. When I think it safe to do so, I release Tashi from his bondage, and he hurtles off up the path. He is out of sight in no time, and I know the little swine is after that bloody JR. Luckily, 3 young lads delay him. Now I'm mildly surprised by this eventuality, as Tashi doesn't normally warm to teenagers. He must think they have food, although none of them are carrying rucksacks. Are you going to the summit, mister? The tallest and pudgiest one asks. Well, we're planning to do the cobbler, but we'll see. We're going to do the eye, he now announces with blissful ignorance. The tall plump one is of course referring to the rock window that gives access to the cobbler's main central summit. The route provides a short, very exposed scramble, and was once a test of manhood for members of Clan Campbell. The boys are gallus urchins from the city of Glasgow. They are dressed in shell suits and trainers, and of course have no waterproofs. I take an immediate liking to them, and I explain what's involved in going to the eye, and what equipment they are likely to need. My straight talking hits home, and the lads now look a little worried. 5 minutes further on, we encounter the leader with another 2 lads and a dog in tow. The leader is dressed little better than his charges, and I smile at him and try to establish if he's indeed serious about taking the boys up the cobbler. I am much relieved to hear that a prudent change of mind has been entered into. As we near the weir at the top of the new path, Tashi spots the Jack Russell again. His dark, expressive eyes twinkle. Mischief is about to happen, and I better intervene before it does. Oh shit, they've stopped for a rest now. Tashi has caught up with them again. When I arrive on the scene, the JR is once again aloft in its owner's arms, and Tashi is barking up at it, but with a good degree of restraint. My wee boy just wants to play, and that tail of his is wagging away with happiness. I quickly slip his lead on again, and head off as quickly as I can. The path becomes an icy trench of snow, and we run into Julie. When we are out of sight of the couple, I release Tashi again. There are several streams to cross on potentially icy rocks, and a dog in a lead has to be a recipe for disaster. I have been forced to wear crampons on this path in the past, due to sheet ice and high winds, but today there's enough soft snow about. Even so, I'm thankful to be able to borrow a trekking pole to cross some of the more shaded streams. Tashi's enthusiasm for the off meant I left my own pole in the boot of the car. Tashi, of course, has no problems with ice. I chat with Julie until we reach the Narnian boulders, where she decides to stop. A brief pause to say our goodbyes allows the couple with the Jack Russell to catch us up, and of course Tashi spots them immediately, and we have a repeat of our previous encounters. "Where are you guys heading?" I ask them. "The cobbler," he replies. "Right then, I think we'll maybe do Ben Narnain. Come on then, Tashi." Tashi swishes his tail imperiously, and we are off again. He doesn't really care what hill we climb. It is well after 1 when we finally reach the Bíleach Amaim, and I stop to take some pictures and give Tashi something to eat and drink. The view is absolutely awesome, with the most snow I've seen since the foot and mouth winter a few years back. I usually reckon on taking about 45 minutes to the top of Narnian from here, so we might not make it within my allotted turnaround time. My fears are justified, and by 2:30 we are just above the 700-metre contour line. I now reckon that we won't reach the top much before 3, and this will mean driving back in darkness, which I'd prefer not to do. I also notice a bank of cloud coming in from the sea, and this seals my decision to retreat. There will be no views for late summit parties today. Tough luck, Tashi. The little Apso isn't bothered. He loves running downhill. We turn and enjoy the last of the views before the cloud envelops us. Sometimes it's nice not to be burdened with summit fever, and at least we should avoid another meeting with old JR the psycho dog. "Shame we had to turn around, Biggin, but on the bright side, we might run into that wee runt JR. And yours truly is laying the blame at his door for this fiasco. That mad wee runt held us up, and we were meant to be climbing the cobbler, so what we were doing up Narnain I've got nae idea. What were you saying to me about sticking to your plan, Biggin?" I tried to change the subject. "I took a great picture of you, look, Tashi." "Aye, no bad, but who's going to spot me in that? And where's my head? Could you not have waited until I'd finished my investigations? I'm sure there was something doing that wee hole." What was I saying about no recriminations? Dogs don't need language. We speak for them.